All right, this video is going to be a bit of a longer form reaction to the Chicago Bears victory at home in Chicago at Soldier Field over the Green Bay Packers in the wild card round 2025, of course. Just want to give a little bit of a longer reaction. My apologies for this being a vertical video rather than the normal horizontal. Not at my normal setup. Bit on a bit of a retreat vacation, so wanted to give you. I've got an instant reaction sort of shorts video version that's more quick and to the point. If you want to watch that as well on the channel, but if you want a bit of a longer form reaction, this is going to be that. Just wanted to kind of go over my thoughts of the game, kind of run through what happened in case you missed it. Now, of course, if you did miss it, I would advise go watch it. I believe you can watch the recording on Amazon Prime if you have that. I believe you can watch that there at least for about 24 hours, something like that. If not, if you have NFL Plus, you can watch recordings there as well. But this game was insane. You'll be seeing clips from it all over the internet for sure. But it was classic 2025 Bears. Bears now have 7 comeback wins this season, franchise record. They also had a record comeback for the postseason. It was the biggest deficit that they have come back from in their playoff history of over 100 years for the Bears. It was also the biggest game lead letdown that the Packers have had in their history. So two franchises that have been playing football for over a century, and this game was the biggest comeback that either has been a part of, for good or for bad. For the Bears, good. Um, Bears get their first win in the playoffs in 15 years. They move on to the divisional round of the playoffs. We'll find out tomorrow who they're going to play, but it'll be at Soldier Field. And if the Bears are able to take care of business next week, there's a chance if the Seahawks aren't able to take care of business, the NFC, the road to the Super Bowl could go through Soldier Field, which is insane. Also, by the way, the two previous times before today that the Bears and Packers had met in the playoffs, one back in the 1940s, one back in 2010. Both of those two times, the winner of this matchup between the Bears and Packers in the playoffs, the winner went on to win the league championship. So, just going to throw that out there. But to get a little bit more in depth on this game, really to start out, it was unfortunately kind of what we've seen from the Bears most of this year. They just, I don't know what it is, but they come out in the first half, really even first 3 quarters sometimes, and they just can't get into a rhythm. The defense is leaky. And it just takes a while for this team to get a handle on things and really start putting pressure on the opponent. And especially with Bears Packers, that's how it's been all 3 times they played this year. Packers come out super hot, dominant, and then the Bears have come roaring back 2 of the 3 times, both in Chicago, getting the win in the end. And also this Bears team plays a lot better at home. So, they're really good at home. Have only 2 losses at home, I believe, this season, if I'm not mistaken. Um, so, but for this game, it started out with Bears driving down, having the ball first, getting stopped in the red zone, having to settle for 3 was kind of the theme for the first parts of the game. Was the Bears would either get down to the red zone and either settle for 3, or on any drive the Bears were quite often having to go forward on 4th down because of the pressure being put on them by the Packers offense moving efficiently. And the Bears were not able to convert most of those 4th downs that they attempted in the first 3 quarters. They went 1 for 5, I believe, in those quarters on 4th down, including a couple interceptions by Caleb Williams on those downs. For the most part, the 2 interceptions in the game by Caleb weren't the most egregious in the sense that they were on fourth downs or they were in situations where they were effectively punts slash if you even just had an incompletion, it would have been a turnover on downs anyways. You know, still interceptions, but you know, so those mistakes in that sense by Caleb, not the most egregious, but offense as a whole couldn't really get into a rhythm early on, and the defense was just very leaky for the Bears. Couldn't get enough pressure early on in the game up front, and then getting beat deep. DBs for the Bears were just getting beat by Romeo Doubs, Watson, Reed, all the top Packers wide receivers. Matthew Golden, their rookie wide receiver. Um, all of them were eating pretty good in the first 3 quarters of this game. But once we got into the second half, especially, and really in that fourth quarter, the Bears defense and special teams came alive, started giving the Bears offenses even more chances. You know, really clamped down on the Packers offense, didn't allow them to do a whole ton. And that's where the Bears offense started getting rolling. We got into the end of the third quarter. Again, still pretty down. The Bears go down the field, get stopped in the red zone yet again, settle for a field goal. And also at the end of this one, the Caleb, kind of an incidental uh, hit with a defender, their legs colliding. And Caleb went down, looked like he had kind of twisted an ankle, ended up having to hop off the field. That was concerning, but by the next drive, he was fine, and the rest of the game, he operated just fine. So, you know, Caleb is amazing in that sense, has been very healthy throughout his career so far in the NFL, does not seem to get hurt. He's very good at avoiding that. And you know, playing through tough stuff. Um, but yeah, so Bears settle for another field goal, cut the deficit to 21-6. Still not great. Then the Bears defense holds, offense gets into the red zone. That's when one of the interceptions happens. It puts the Packers inside their own 10. Again, it was on a fourth down, so it wasn't really the biggest deal, but time was getting late and the deficit was huge. Right around that time, also, we entered into the fourth quarter, so time was getting of the essence. Bears were running out of time. And then the Packers drove down the field on offense. Nahshon Wright got injured for the Bears, went out for a while. And once again, when he went out, the Bears defense kind of felt leaky again for a minute. And that helped the Packers drive down, get another touchdown, getting the score to 27-16 at that point. And this is kind of early, mid fourth quarter. And then Brandon McManus misses the extra point attempt for the Packers. And by the way, at this point, he had already missed a field goal. And so then we go through, continue on in the fourth quarter. Bears get the ball, start driving. Midway through this drive, at 5:41 left to go in the game, the according to ESPN's win probability and Amazon's, the the Bears win percentage probability got as low as 2.2% at 5:41 left to go in the game. So the odds got very much against the Bears' favor, but they were able to drive down the field 10 plays, 76 yards, 2 minutes, 18 seconds for the drive. Got a touchdown to Olamide Zaccheaus, and then a 2-point conversion to Colston Loveland. So a great drive. Then the Packers come out on offense. They drive down 43 yards, attempt a 44-yard field goal, and it is yet again missed by Brandon McManus. Brandon McManus finished the game 0 for 2 on field goals and 3 of 4 on extra points. So I hate to say it, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if this offseason Brandon McManus probably gets let go by the Packers. The job for kickers is pretty ruthless, but at the same time, though, you have one job. Well, a couple, but it's all kicking. Field goals, PATs, kickoffs. Still kick the ball. Accuracy, range. What there's a lot of stuff that still goes into kicking, but obviously there is a fair reason why there's a lot of pressure on kickers, um, and when you can't live up to it, uh, in any position, the game is ruthless in the NFL. You're going to get cut. I would be surprised if the Packers stick with McManus at kicker in 2026. But Packers are now into their offseason, partially thanks to McManus. Unfortunately, not all on him, of course. The allowing the Bears to come back from such a deficit is not just on him. But if you take the 2 field goals, that's 6 points, and the missed extra point attempt, that's 7 points lost by the Packers. That would have made up the difference. And also, even just the missed extra point attempt, had he made that, the Packers in their last drive of the game could have had a better situation to maybe try for a field goal. But we'll get to that in a second. So again, Brandon McManus misses the 44-yard field goal. Bears get the ball back. They go 6 plays, 66 yards. Do this in 1 minute and 8 seconds, and that drive ends in a touchdown to DJ Moore. Bears fans all around, especially at the stadium, of course, celebrate. Bears go up 31-27, and then Green Bay gets the ball back with about a minute left to go. And Jordan Love comes out, starts leading a pretty good drive. Bears playing very much prevent defense, just trying to protect the end zone and big plays. But outside of that, allowing the Packers to drive down, because of course at this point a field goal isn't going to help the Packers. So the Packers do get into pretty close to the red zone. They get as close as the Bears' 23-yard line, but then from there things kind of stall out for the Packers. They have a couple penalties. Some of that aided by the crowd noise started causing some false starts and some delay game type stuff for the Packers. And then the game ends with some sort of a mishandled snap by Jordan Love. He was able to recover it, run around. Of course, being that the Bears were only bringing 3 to rush the passer, but a bit of a run around, and then Jordan Love throws it deep towards the end zone. Ends up going basically to Kyler Gordon. Ends up being incomplete rather than an interception, but game ends, and the Bears held on and got the win. So the Bears win 31-27. Now, regarding my predictions prior to the game, my prediction had been Bears 20-19. So obviously, I was low on the total score by a decent bit, but I was correct in my assumption that this was going to be a close, weird game yet again, and the Bears were going to manage to pull out the win. So far for the day, for the weekend, I'm 2-0 picking winners overall, 2-0 against the spread, but I am 0-2 against the over-under. Both times I had the under, and it went over. But obviously, I'm delighted. Bears move on. Tomorrow we will find out who the Bears will play. If the Eagles win, then it will be Bears Eagles. If the 49ers win, then it will be Bears Rams next week. So I'm really excited to find out what the case is going to be there. But I hope you've enjoyed today's action. Enjoy Sunday, and of course the Monday games. I'll have reactions to those as well. And I will see you in those next videos.